Hey, welcome back. So, I was just going through my social media and um, I do have a TikTok for the hobby. And I think what I was thinking was I would just post the shorter videos on TikTok, um, maybe just to showcase the fish there. So you can, if you wanted a more close-up look of the fish, you can just go to my TikTok. I believe I provided a link in the description and also in my general bio, so you can go check that out. And that one has more better quality images. So, I try to film it in 4K, um, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe someday, because the reason why I uploaded on TikTok is because it has a convenient way of just uh, editing the video footage for me. So I just put in a bunch of clips and it stitches them together, and I get a nice edit out of it. So it's really cool. I just use TikTok for that. I was thinking of doing that on YouTube Shorts, but right now I think there's some limitations with YouTube Shorts. I just think TikTok is much better, but it might mean that you might have to sign up for TikTok. I don't think you can just view it, or maybe you can just view it without having to sign up. So, uh, for the main channel though, which is this one, I I'm not really gonna focus on the close up of my fish. I just, it's just more um, zoomed out in a way. So we'll just keep it that way for now and see how it goes. Um, but yeah, if you were ever curious, because I do watch my own videos after uploading them, and they are blurry, so I apologize for that. So that's something I'm working on. And you know, when the channel picks up, I'll start really learning how to edit videos, because that's not my domain. I don't really know much about video editing, but I did dabble with Adobe in the past, so maybe that's something I can look into again. But for now, I just leave the footage in its rawest state, so I don't really do any editing on it, no filters. This is, I believe, filming in 4K 30 frames. Um, it would have been nicer on 60 frames, but uh, 30 FPS is what I'm going with for now. And I think this one you couldn't see last time. I noticed that in the video you couldn't see, uh, but now I guess by zooming in, sorry, let me just. It's like faint, but it's 22.5 or zero point 0.4 now in Celsius room, the temperature of the room, and the RH is 28. So it's nice to have these things, because if you have a fish room, or something that's has a lot of volume of water that's creating a lot of moisture, you really want to have that ability to check the fish room or the room itself for higher than normal RH, because anything above a 70 would be a breeding ground for mold. So you don't really want that to happen. And right now it's at 30, which is really dry actually. And I think it's just the way the unit is. It's so dry, so I always gotta like put lotion on or something, or rehydrate myself. But it's a really dry unit, which I don't mind, because if I have a fish room, then this is kind of like the humidifier of the place. And soon enough, I'm going to be filling this room with plants as well, because plants naturally purify the air and also absorb moisture as well. So that will also lower or maybe balance the RH in this room. So it's going to turn more into like an Amazon type of environment. Um, but going with uh, what I was gonna do. So I actually forgot to condition this water. So I'm just gonna show you that step of conditioning this water. But this is just from the local tap water, and we're actually gonna go ahead and test it to see what the normal parameters are for the tap water, just to kind of give you an idea. Now I don't have uh, a robust testing kit here. It's a 7-in-1 strip testing, and it only detects nitrate, changes in nitrite, total chlorine, hardiness, alkalinity, carbonate, and pH. It would have been nice to have some ability to see what the ammonia levels are. I know that when I had a substrate aquarium, when I did aquascape, I know that the soil that you buy from the store, it does release ammonia, so then you would have ammonia spikes. So it would have been really nice to test the water during those times. But again, this is the only testing strip that I have, and that's pretty much all I care about. So it takes about 3 seconds after you dip it in the water, and then you kind of just test it. So, nitrate is 0, which is really good. Nitrite is 0, which is good. And then we're moving into the chlorine. Chlorine is also 0. So, yeah, that's strange. The chlorine is 0. Hardiness is maybe a 250. It's like around 250, 100 to 250, which is in the okay range. Anything more than 250 would be high in hardness. Alkalinity, I would say, because the colors are so close, I would say it's like an 80 to 120, which is still in the okay range. And then you have the carbonate, which is also in the 80, which is okay. And then again, the pH is really high, measuring at like 7.8, 7.8, 7.6 to 7.8. So that's the one thing I really need to focus on, is to change the pH of the water, the local water that I have here. But, oh shit, I forgot to grab this. So yeah, as I mentioned in my other videos, I have a powdered like, I don't know what to call it, but it removes chlorine, chloramine, and ammonia. So I mean, yeah, I guess from the reading that we got, we didn't really have much chlorine to begin with. So, that's kind of an interesting find. And so we're just gonna put a little bit of this solution, of this powdered solution in there. So I don't put much. It's like a pinch of salt, because it does look like salt, right? And this will last a long time. This is really all you need. So you just put a little bit in there, and then you just close this up. And if I really wanted a darker water, then I would have to add the powdered tannins, but I don't really need to do that in this case. I just want clear water, and I just shake it up. So now we basically have ready to go water. I mean, I should really be putting this in the aquarium itself, because it does remove ammonia, but you know, the plants do that mostly, so I don't really need to worry too much about that. Um, but since like the rack is kind of like blocking me sometimes from maintaining the fish tanks, I just transfer the water over to a smaller container to allow me to fit the container to fill up the tanks, basically. So yeah, I just like to keep them, you know, relatively close to the rim. I don't fill them up all the way because I kind of like to see the water line. And you can tell this one had a lot of evaporation. I had to put a lot of water in there. But this is pretty much all I do. I just top them up, and that's the good thing about like having aquariums like this. Very low maintenance. Sometimes super low maintenance. I don't maintain them for weeks. So maybe once a month I would do like some deep cleaning because there would be some, you know, algae buildup on the glass. So I just gotta scrape that. But other than that, I just top up. Yeah, because since I have like almost like an open top, as you can see, like from down here, it's just the mesh. It actually allows for evaporation. So the water evaporates, and that's why I have to top them up, which is good because I wanna top them up with clean water. Um, but if you're wondering how to prevent them from evaporating too fast, then you just have to buy a closed lid so that, you know, it doesn't really evaporate fast enough. And as you can tell, like I only use one. This is a juice container, but it is actually 2.63 liters, so it's almost like a gallon. And this is basically just what I use to top up the water. Now, when you top up water, you want to be mindful that since I'm not doing any real water change on the tank, things tend to build up. You know what I mean? Because all you're doing, all I'm doing is topping up the water. So the existing like conditions of the water is not being replaced. So it's really just turning more concentrated since all I'm doing is topping up water with new water. But whatever is not being eliminated in the fish tank is actually compounding to the quality. So you know what I mean? So that's why you still need to do a like somewhat of a water change. Like the other day I did 25%, just to prevent that the concentration of these things inside the fish tank. So if you have like higher than normal nitrate, then, or if it keeps producing nitrate and nothing in the tank is eliminating that or filtering that, then it would just keep building up over time. So that's what you want to be mindful of with a topping up type of maintenance, because it gives you the illusion that the water is being cleaned, but really you're just adding fresh water to an existing water in the tank already that might have some concentration of stuff over time. So just be mindful of that. So yeah, I would say if you have a setup like this, you would do like a water change once a month. So really, I don't do much. This is it. Like I set it and forget it type of thing. And there are some things I'm working on, like lowering the pH. So I might need to look into that, and I might just go online and buy a solution to fix that, because I think it's just a problem with my local water to begin with. But if you're gonna go for a low maintenance setup like mine, then go with a heavily planted tank, kind of like what you see here. So I have a lot of driftwood in each of the, each tank basically has a driftwood. I think these are Malaysian driftwood, and the driftwood actually softens the water, so that's what you want. And especially if you have a shrimp tank, you want driftwood because they kind of eat the decaying matter. So it's good to have driftwood in your tank. And also, if you have plants that uh, like to hang on to things, then you want to attach them to driftwood. So I have a bunch of things attached to this one right here, and I think it's like a Java fern and some Java moss. There's some roots growing already, so it's pretty much established itself on the driftwood. And this Java moss is so hardy. I love Java moss. It can survive low light, high lights. Right now I have really bright lights, but before I used to have a low light setup. And Java moss is pretty much indestructible. And same with the Java fern. If you're looking for the best types of plants to keep, I would recommend definitely the ones that require low light. Java ferns, Java moss, cryptocorns. Those are the ones that will stand the test of time, and they don't break down and die easily. They're more resilient than most plants. But like you can see in this breeder box right here, um, you you might not be able to tell, but this Java fern is actually pearling, and that's a good sign too. Pearling is just the plant signaling to you that it's in good condition and that it's thriving. And basically, the pearls are oxygen, so it's actually oxygenating the tank. So you see how the cycle is with the ecosystem here, the mini ecosystem. So each tank is isolated in its own ecosystem, so that even if a disease breaks out, only one tank is affected and not the entire colony of fish. Um, and that's by design, basically. And so, you know, um, the fact that it's very clear tells you that the system is good. And I learned that from another YouTuber. Um, I wish I could give him credit, but maybe at some point I'll give him credit when I remember the channel. But um, if the water is really clear, it means the system is doing its job. And if it starts to turn milky, or it's creamy or something like that, you want to be mindful, because that's an indication that the system is breaking down and something is lacking. Maybe you need more plants, decrease the bio load. You have to figure that out, because the system is overwhelmed and it's breaking down, it's imploding on itself. So that's a good indication that do a water change, reset the tank, and monitor and reassess. But with these tanks, as you can tell, they're very clear. So the ecosystem is holding up. This one is purling up, and this one actually has no fish in it because the male is down below breeding. So it's really nice to see that it's purling up. Not the best angle to check that out. Um, yeah, again, like this one is purling up. It's so crazy how these Java ferns are just purling up, and it's a perfect system. I mean, this male right here is not even seeing any females, but it is building a bubble nest. So when they get excited, when they get happy, they'll have a bubble nest. This is a beta copper smaragdina. From what I understand, it's it's not a common color for a betta, for a Smaragdina, so it's really cool. I think it's almost like a rare type of betta, wild type. So it's kind of unfortunate I lost a female, but. And then this one is the Embellus, also known as the Peaceful Betta. Such an amazing fish. The coloration is amazing. And again, if you're not seeing a close-up of this, I have it on my TikTok, so I highly recommend you check those out. But yeah, it's just, even though they're peaceful, I refrain from keeping males together. I can keep females together, but just not males. Yeah, the female's right here. I might breed her at some point. She looks very healthy, so that's really good. This tank is kind of getting dirty, so I might clean it up at some point, make a video on that and show you. And then here I have a bunch of just fry endlers and guppies that are basically just dealer fish. I don't really care. I mean, you know, I don't really, it's, I don't know how to say it. For me, I'm more of a betta fish keeper. But maybe it's an introduction for me into guppies and endlers. So we'll see how this one goes. And, you know, it's like at least 10 of each in there. So when they mature, they're gonna reproduce, and then maybe I'll clean up the tank because the hornwort is getting thick and I can barely see into the tank, which is a good sign as well. It's a good system. And yeah, so this one is the jar of leaves that I was talking about, and it kind of has dirt on it, but that's just from the outside. I checked most of the leaves, doesn't really have anything gross in it, but I think it's good to use, so I've been using it. You know, it's good tannins. In this tank there's only one juvenile betta, so not much is going on with this tank right now, but this one is my attempt on breeding the Embellus pair that I have. So I'll keep you updated on that, but right now they're not breeding. So yeah, I gotta figure that out. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy this video, and you know, make sure you subscribe, comment, share. I really want to know anything useful about these amazing fish. If you have them, just let me know how differently you raise them. So I have bred them before, so I guess, you know, maybe I can talk more about that. Like that is an offspring of the copper Smaragdina. But yeah, I'll see you in the next video.